first question. And the first question is, why do some young people become homeless?
Right. That's a good question. I think for me, I don't feel like there's really an easy answer, unfortunately. I think there's lots of different reasons that young people become homeless. Certainly, we know from the research that histories of abuse are unfortunately fairly common for this group. We also know that kind of parental conflict, and that can be around various things, right? That might be parents upset about the friends that the young person has, or concerns about their substance use. It can also be sort of concerns around their LGBTQ status or something like that. And so in those cases, what often ends up happening is that kind of conflict or that abuse culminates in that person being either sort of pushed out of the home or choosing to leave. Another sort of common kind of pathway in that we know about is through the child welfare system. So this is young people who are either aging out of CAS, so they kind of hit that 18 mark, or in some cases they might get that extended care, but they're sort of leaving care earlier than they're ready for, and maybe without sort of the adequate supports that they need in place. Or it might be young people who end up in sort of the group home kind of system and end up running away from those group homes because they're not often sort of the nicest places to be, and so they'll sort of end up homeless through that route as well. I'm just going to
Great.
take a look if there's anything else here. Oh yeah, the other thing I sort of wanted to highlight too is, I think we often sort of want to think about it, or sometimes I think students are sort of tempted to think about kind of youth homelessness sort of happening because there's sort of one big event, right? There's some big fight or some big blowout, or it's abuse, or it's this sort of one sort of thing. But I think when you talk with folks, young people who have a history of homelessness, it's usually way more kind of complicated and murky and muddy than that, right? So there are those conflicts, there can be those abusive situations, but there's also sort of can be just a kind of complex home environments as well, right? So you have maybe parental mental health issues or parental substance use issues, or a death in the family, and then sort of the young person doesn't have their kind of primary caregiver, maybe their mother or their father, and so they have to go live with a family member, and then that that situation doesn't end up being that positive, and then so they either need to leave or choose to leave. And so just it's sort of thinking about kind of how there's often a lot kind of going on, and it just isn't one thing that leads to someone being homeless.
Great. Thank you.